"Don't come for Christmas," she said, her voice cold, detached. I was still holding the plane ticket I bought to surprise her. "We'll pretend we don't know you." Those words burned through the phone line like acid. But it wasn't just her. "No. Don't come for Christmas. My billionaire boyfriend will be present," her sister Madison said gently, like she was doing me a favor. "We'll pretend we don't know you," her mother chimed in, like a rehearsed line from a twisted play. And just like that, I wasn't a husband. I was an outsider to my own damn family. Let me rewind. Not too far. Just enough to show you how I got here, standing in my own living room, watching snow fall outside while my wife prepared for a holiday with her lover, a billionaire. His name was Travis. Of course, it was. They thought I'd crumble. They thought I'd sit there with my chest caved in, wondering what I did wrong. But no, I did something else. I sent my photo to the caterer. A smiling, happy photo of me and her on our wedding day. I told him to tape it to the champagne fridge. Nothing flashy. Just there, where eyes would land eventually. And guess what? Travis saw it at the Christmas Eve party. He didn't even wait for dessert. Didn't yell. Didn't throw a fit. He looked at her, then the photo. Back to her. Said one word. "Liar." Then he left. She called me 30 minutes later, screaming. "You vindictive piece of crap," she yelled. "You ruined everything." I didn't say a word. I just watched the snow keep falling. Because now we're even. But let's talk about how we got here. The cheating? Yeah, I knew. You think a man can't feel the shift in the air when his woman starts letting another man keep her warm at night? It started 3 months ago. Her name's Emily. But don't let the soft sound of it fool you. Emily used to be gentle, kind. No? She was razor-sharp sarcasm wrapped in perfume and heels. Everything I did annoyed her. Everything I said sparked an eye roll. I noticed the late nights. Just drinks with coworkers. Right. Then came the perfume that wasn't hers. The text she'd smile at but flip her screen down before I could glance. Then the gym obsession. The new lingerie. But no interest in being close to me. One night, she came home at 2 a.m., her lipstick smeared and her eyes too bright to be tired. "Car trouble," she said. I didn't even ask. I just watched her peel off her dress like I wasn't there, like I was a roommate she barely tolerated. I started checking our security camera archives. Not because I wanted to catch her. Because part of me already knew. I just wanted the confirmation to kill the hope. And there it was. Travis. Tall, polished, with the kind of arrogance that wears a Rolex and thinks it makes him invincible. He pulled up in his matte black McLaren, and she ran to him. Jumped into his arms like a high school girl seeing her crush. Not like a married woman sneaking out of her husband's house. And the part that broke me? She looked happy. Happier than she ever looked with me. She was never good at lying. But she was excellent at pretending. When I confronted her a week later, right before Thanksgiving, she flipped the script. "You're boring, Liam," she spat. "You used to dream. Now you just exist." I stood there silent while she packed a weekender bag with no shame. She kissed me on the cheek before leaving and whispered, "Maybe spend the holidays finding yourself." Now Christmas was coming, and I was uninvited from my own wife's family dinner. But I didn't fight. I played my move. Quiet. Cold. Calculated. When Travis saw the wedding photo, the illusion cracked. 6 days later, her mother was calling me begging. "Liam, please." Emily's not herself. I didn't answer. Because I'm not myself either. And this? This was only the beginning. 6 days passed. I didn't return her calls. Didn't respond to her sister's long-winded messages about how this has all been a misunderstanding and Emily just got confused. Confused? Is that what we're calling getting cozy with a billionaire while still sleeping in the bed I built? Confusion? The 7th day, I got a knock on my door. It was her mother, wrapped in a heavy beige coat, renosed from the cold and probably shame. She looked at me like I was supposed to open my arms and say, "It's okay." I didn't. "Liam," she whispered. I was wrong. She sounded tired, worn out from watching her golden child's perfect plan burn to ash. She's broken. She hasn't eaten in 2 days. She won't stop crying. I leaned against the doorway and gave her the most honest sentence I could. She broke herself. Emily hadn't called. Not once. And I knew why. She was still clinging to pride. The same pride that let her parade another man in front of me and call me the disappointment. I should have felt powerful, but I didn't. All I felt was tired. A few hours later, my phone buzzed. Her name. No message. Just her name. I stared at it until the screen dimmed. Then, the doorbell again. This time, it was her. Her makeup was gone. Her nails chipped? The designer coat she wore to Travis's parties had been traded for an oversized hoodie that wasn't hers, maybe her dad's. I almost didn't recognize her. But the moment she opened her mouth, the venom returned. "You think you're clever?" she hissed. "You think you won? You dumped me in front of everyone." I didn't flinch. "You dumped yourself, Emily. I just gave him the truth." She laughed. A cruel, bitter sound. "You were never strong enough for me. That's why I looked elsewhere." "You didn't look elsewhere," I said calmly. "You crawled." She slapped me. Quick. Sharp. Her hand trembled afterward, like she didn't expect herself to actually do it. I didn't react. I just stared at her. "You don't get to rewrite history now," I said. "You can lie to your mother, to your sister, to your reflection, but not to me." Tears started forming at the edges of her eyes. But I'd seen this performance before. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "I thought Travis could offer me something more. But he didn't care about me, not really." "You always did. And you spat on it," I replied. She took a step closer. I didn't move. "I want to come home." "You were never forced to leave," I said. "You chose to." She looked around the house, our house, like it was foreign. Like she was stepping back into a museum of memories she didn't earn anymore. Then she tried the oldest trick in the book. She reached for my hand. I pulled it away. That's when she broke. "I gave you the best years of my life," she yelled. I almost laughed. "You didn't give me anything. You shared them until someone richer showed up." Her eyes flared. "I made a mistake. But you're pathetic. You think this makes you better than me?" "No," I said. "It makes me free." And with that, I shut the door. She stayed on the porch for a while. I saw her shadow pacing through the glass, arms crossed, phone in hand. Eventually, she left. Later that night, I got another text. "Just talk to me." I didn't reply. I scrolled through old photos, some I hadn't looked at in years. Our honeymoon. Her birthday. That night we stayed up laughing on the floor because the power went out. I stared at the image of her in my hoodie, smiling. Not for Instagram. Just for me. And then I deleted them. Every single one. One by one. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't broken. I was just done. And that felt stronger than anything I'd felt in months. 3 days went by. Silence. Not from her. No, she was relentless now. Texts. Missed calls. Emails titled, "Let's talk like adults." Even her sister Madison messaged me some pathetic quote about forgiveness and healing. They were panicking. Because for the first time, I didn't chase. I didn't argue. I just disappeared from their script. That's what burned them. I wasn't the angry husband yelling in the driveway. I wasn't crying at her feet, asking why. I became a ghost. And that scared her more than anything. But I wasn't hiding. I was rebuilding. I moved into a short-term apartment on the other side of the city, industrial view, bare walls, cold floor, and silence. Beautiful silence. No passive-aggressive remarks. No perfume from another man on the pillows. Just my own breath, my own space. At first, I didn't sleep. My body kept twitching awake like I was waiting for her to walk in and start another fight. But when I finally crashed, I slept 10 hours. Dead. Heavy. Dreamless. When I woke up, something had shifted. Not everything. Not yet. But enough. I went out. Got a coffee. Talked to a stranger in line. Smiled at a kid who dropped his toy. I was becoming someone again. A man without her voice in his head, whispering that he was not enough. And then, she showed up again. At my office. I should have seen it coming. But she never used to be bold in public. This was new. She barged in like she still had a right. Tight jeans, perfect hair, acting like nothing had happened. "Liam," she said breathlessly, "we need to talk." I didn't stand. Didn't offer a chair. "Emily, leave." "No," she snapped. "You don't get to push me out like this. After everything we had you threw it away." "I made a mistake." Her voice cracked. The office went quiet. I saw heads poking up from cubicles. She didn't care. She walked up to my desk, slammed a photo down. Us. On the beach. Cancun, 3 years ago. "You were happy," she whispered. "We were happy. Before the lies," I said. "Before the fake girls' nights. Before you let another man touch what was mine." She opened her mouth, but I wasn't done. "You don't miss me, Emily. You miss control. You miss the safety net." "That's not true. Travis dumped you. And now you want to come back to the backup plan." She actually scoffed. "You think I need you?" "I think you did. But not anymore." She laughed bitterly, turned to leave, then hesitated. "I'll make this simple," she said over her shoulder. "I'm not signing the divorce papers. You'll have to fight me. Fine, I said. I'll enjoy the fight. And I meant it. That night, I sat with the papers. Final draft. Clean. Legal. Simple words ending a complex betrayal. I signed them. I made 3 copies. Sent one to her. One to my lawyer. Burned the third over the kitchen sink. The next morning, she called. "You're really doing this?" she asked, voice barely a whisper. I didn't answer, because her silence was finally louder than mine. 3 weeks passed. The world didn't stop spinning. My hands still worked. My heart still beat. The sun still rose, though it felt sharper now, more honest. Emily disappeared from the surface, but not completely. I'd still see her name pop up on unknown numbers. Still hear from mutual friends that she was going through it. I didn't care. Until the day I ran into Travis. It was at a client fundraiser in Midtown, suits, champagne, fake laughs, the usual scene. I almost didn't recognize him without her clinging to his arm. He looked different. Hollow. We made eye contact across the room. He walked over. "Liam, right?" he asked, offering his hand. I looked at it for a second before shaking it. "Didn't expect to see you here," I said, dryly. "Yeah, I imagine not." There was a pause. An awkward, suffocating pause. "She told me you were a broke loser," he said. "Said you were using her for stability." I smirked. "She always was a creative storyteller." He nodded, looking away. "She lied about a lot of things." Another pause. Then he added, "I didn't know she was married when we met." I stared at him. No anger. Just clarity. "I'm not looking for your apology," I said. "You weren't the one who vowed anything to me." He gave a short nod. "Still, I figured you should hear it." I turned to leave but stopped halfway. "Did she ever tell you what she said about me at Christmas?" I asked. He shook his head. "She told me not to come. Said you'd be there. Said they'd pretend they didn't know me." His face shifted, just slightly, like something cracked behind the eyes. "Guess you saw through it before I did," he muttered. "No," I said. "I just saw it too late." I left before he could respond. That night, I got drunk for the first time in months. Not blackout. Just enough for the pain to loosen its grip. I sat on the couch in my quiet apartment, listening to vinyls Emily used to hate. At one point, I picked up my phone, scrolled through her messages, all still unread. Then I opened my photo app. There was one picture left. I don't know how it slipped through when I wiped the rest. It was blurry, her in the passenger seat, laughing mid-sentence, window down, wind in her hair. I stared at it for a long time, and deleted it. 2 days later, my lawyer called. She signed. Just like that. Done. I expected a wave of something, relief, maybe sadness, rage, but there was nothing. Just stillness. Until my phone buzzed again. It was her. A voicemail. Her voice was shaky, desperate. "Liam, I know I don't deserve anything from you, but I can't stop thinking about us. About the way we used to be. I miss waking up beside you. I miss your stupid morning coffee routine. I deleted it halfway through. Because I didn't miss any of it. She missed what I gave her. The loyalty. The protection. The constant belief that she was better than the way she acted. But she wasn't. And now she was just a name I used to whisper in my sleep. A ghost I'd learned not to chase. And I was finally breathing again. The next week, I started packing up the last of the boxes from our old house. I had sold it. Didn't tell her. She found out through a mutual friend who used to live next door. I didn't feel bad. That house wasn't a home anymore. It was a crime scene without yellow tape. Every corner whispered memories soaked in betrayal. The couch where she laughed while texting him. The kitchen where she'd kiss me goodbye and then run to him. Even the shower where she used to hum. I used to think she was happy. Turns out, she just had someone else on her mind. As I walked through those empty rooms one last time, it hit me how much of myself I had poured into this place. Every paint color, every photo frame, every inch had a piece of me. And she desecrated it. I didn't take much, just a leather chair, some old books, and one box of things that were mine before her. The rest? Let the next owners build something new, untainted. That night, she showed up again. I was at my apartment, eating takeout, when the buzzer rang. I didn't even have to ask who. I knew. She stood in the hallway, wet from the rain, mascara smudged, breathing hard like she'd run the whole way. Her coat was open. Underneath was a tight black dress I hadn't seen before. Probably one of the gifts from Travis. "You sold the house," she said, voice shaking. "I did." "Why?" she asked, eyes wide, voice cracking like she was the victim. "Because I don't live in the past." She stepped forward. I need to talk. No, I said. You want to talk? That's different. Liam, please. I'm not okay. I stared at her. This wasn't about guilt. It was about consequences. She was used to lighting fires and walking away while someone else burned. Not this time. Not my problem anymore, I said. She took another step. I just want to explain. You explained enough when you said, don't come for Christmas. Her eyes flashed. That wasn't about you. You told me you'd pretend not to know me. That your billionaire boyfriend would be there. Your sister laughed, Emily. Your mother joined in like it was a joke. She shook her head violently. They don't know what they're saying. No, I cut her off. They knew exactly what they were saying. And you let them say it. She suddenly looked small. Like a balloon that finally deflated. No power left. Just skin and regret. I lost everything, she whispered. He's gone. My family's turned on me. I don't know who I am anymore. That's not my fault, I said. That's yours. And for once, she didn't argue. She just stood there and cried. Real tears. Ugly, broken ones. But it didn't move me. Not anymore. Because I remembered crying too. Alone. In the dark. With a phone in my hand and no one on the other end. She turned to leave, but paused. I never loved him, she said softly. I thought he'd save me. But you were the only one who ever really saw me. I looked her dead in the eye. And you still chose someone else. She left. And I didn't feel victorious. I just felt free. A few weeks passed. No more calls. No more surprise visits. No more late-night voicemails. She vanished the way fire dies when there's nothing left to burn. I settled into the new place. It wasn't perfect. The walls were bare, the floors creaked, and the heating made a strange clicking sound at night. But it was mine. Every sound, every silence, it was mine. I started going to the gym again. The one near the river, where the old guys lifted heavy and nobody took selfies. I hadn't stepped foot in there for months. The first day back, I nearly collapsed halfway through my session. But I kept going. Not because I had something to prove to her, because I had something to rebuild in me. And then, one night, out of nowhere, her sister Madison texted, "Are you okay?" I stared at the message for a minute, confused. She hadn't spoken to me since the Christmas party incident. She was one of the people who told me to stay away, pretend I didn't exist. I almost blocked her. But something made me reply, "I'm fine." Why? Her answer came quick. "She's not." I knew who she meant. I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, another message came through. "She's been drinking a lot. Stopped showing up to work. Mom says she barely leaves her apartment. She won't talk to us." This time, I typed back. "She made her choices." "I know," Madison answered. "But that doesn't mean she doesn't regret them." I stared at that sentence. My thumb hovered over the screen. And then I put the phone down. I didn't need to be pulled back into that mess. Her pain wasn't my redemption arc. She wasn't my responsibility anymore. Still, I didn't sleep that night. Not because I missed her, but because I remembered who I used to be before all this. The version of me that believed in people. That gave second chances. That stayed long after he should have walked. I wasn't that man anymore. The next morning, I saw her. By accident. She was sitting outside a small coffee shop downtown. Alone. Hair pulled into a messy bun. No makeup. Just a scarf and a hoodie that looked 2 sizes too big. She had a cigarette between her fingers. I didn't even know she smoked. I paused across the street. She hadn't seen me. She was staring off at nothing. Lost. Completely. A year ago, I would have crossed the street. Sat down. Asked if she was okay. Tried to fix it. Tried to fix her. But I just stood there. Watching the woman I once thought I'd grow old with slowly fall apart without making a sound. And I felt nothing. Not hate. Not joy. Just nothing. Because she wasn't mine to worry about anymore. She was a memory in real time. A ghost still pretending to be someone's future. I turned and walked away. Later that day, I met a friend for lunch. Jake, college buddy, recently divorced too. We joked about how marriage should come with a warranty, how people changed when no one was watching. Somewhere between the laughs and the bourbon, he looked at me and said, "You seem lighter, man." And maybe I was. Not because I'd won, but because I finally stopped carrying someone who was never willing to carry me back. I went home that night, sat on the balcony, and watched the city breathe under orange lights. My phone buzzed once. A number I didn't recognize. I let it ring. Somewhere out there, she was probably still trying to figure out how it all slipped away. But I wasn't. Because I had finally let go. Weeks turned into months. Winter melted into spring, and with it, the last traces of her from my world disappeared. I didn't speak her name anymore. I didn't replay the arguments or wonder what I could have done differently. That chapter was closed. One evening, I was reorganizing some old boxes in storage when I stumbled upon a folder I hadn't seen in a while: wedding documents, vows we had written, cards from guests. I opened one out of curiosity. Her handwriting stared back at me. To my best friend, my protector, my future, no matter what storms we face, we'll face them together. I sat there quietly, letting those words hang in the air like ghosts. So many promises, so easily shattered. I didn't feel sadness anymore. Only clarity. Promises don't mean anything when they're made by someone who can't keep them. I put the folder back in the box, sealed it, and labeled it simply, past. One afternoon, I was walking home when I saw her again. This time, she wasn't alone. She was with a man. Not Travis. Someone new. Clean-shaven, stylish, the kind of guy who looked like he checked his reflection in every car window he passed. She was holding his arm, laughing a little too loud, wearing that same forced confidence she always used when trying to pretend everything was fine. She saw me. Our eyes locked for a second too long. Her smile twitched. The laugh stopped. She didn't say anything. Neither did I. She looked away first. It didn't sting. What surprised me was the wave of relief that hit me. I didn't want her back. I didn't need closure. I didn't care who she was with or what act she was playing now. I just didn't care. That night, I met someone new. Not in a movie moment, not in a poetic twist of fate. Just a casual meet through friends. Her name was Rachel. She had a calm energy. Asked questions. Listened. She didn't make me feel like I had to perform to be enough. We talked for hours. Not about pain. Not about the past. Just about now. At the end of the night, she said, "You've got sad eyes. But your smile's still trying." I laughed. Not a fake laugh. A real one. The first in a long time. I didn't tell her about Emily. Not yet. She didn't need to know that chapter. All she needed to see was the man who came after it. Later, as I walked home alone, I realized something. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about making Emily regret everything. It wasn't about Travis or Madison or her mom or the words that cut deep on Christmas Eve. It was about me, reclaiming myself, piece by piece, and finally understanding that sometimes the worst thing someone does to you is the best thing that ever happened, because it sets you free. A year later, I stood at a rooftop bar with a view of the skyline, holding a glass of scotch in one hand and Rachel's fingers in the other. The air was warm, the city lights soft and distant, and for the first time in what felt like forever, the silence inside me wasn't empty, it was peaceful. She leaned in, her head against my shoulder, and whispered, "You seem far away." I smiled. Not far. Just remembering how far I've come. I didn't talk about Emily anymore. People who knew me back then stopped asking. And the ones who came into my life after, like Rachel, never met the version of me that bent, broke, and bled for someone who didn't deserve it. Sometimes, late at night, I'd think about how it all unfolded. Her lies. Her sister's smug voice. Her mother's condescension. That brutal Christmas rejection. "Don't come for Christmas." It used to echo like a gunshot in my mind. But now? Now it was just a line from a play I didn't star in anymore. I heard through someone that Emily had moved to another city, working some startup job, still chasing dreams that didn't belong to her, still trying to be someone new for someone new. I felt nothing. And maybe that's what real healing is, not forgiving the people who broke you, not pretending it never happened, but waking up one day and realizing their voice no longer lives in your head, that your story didn't end where they left. It started. Rachel kissed me on the cheek and said, "Whatever it is you're thinking, you look like you made it through hell and came back better." I looked at her and nodded. I did. If someone asked me now what I'd learned, I'd tell them this. People will fail you. Sometimes the ones you trust the most will turn out to be the ones who cut the deepest. But if you survive it, if you get through the screaming nights, the silence, the self-doubt, you'll find something more valuable than closure. You'll find yourself. And no one can cheat you out of that.